Hi, this is Ricky with the Klasen Family Homestead channel. Today I'm going to be trellising tomatoes and cucumbers. I'm going to show you the process in which I do that and how to maintain them as they grow. Before we really get started, I kind of want to give you a little backstory on this year's garden. When we originally put in our tomatoes, they were hit by a frost, and then a few days later our garden kind of flooded. So everything's kind of been through the ringer this year. So as you watch me kind of go through the tomatoes and the cucumbers, both the tomatoes and the cucumbers are a little past the point where they should be trellised, so definitely do them a little bit earlier. But the main reason I kind of left the tomatoes originally was because I wanted to see if they're going to pull out of the frost that they got, and most of them did. We had to replace a couple, but at that point we were kind of sold out of a lot of things in the greenhouse, but thankfully most of them pulled out. As for the cucumbers, I would say about 90% of them died in the frost, so we had to replace those. So we actually were not able to have any pickling cucumbers because we were sold out for the greenhouse, and the ones that we had died, and we were out of seed. So we have plenty of slicers, but no picklers, so I'll have to figure something out. Maybe I'll end up buying some to make pickles, I don't know. But anyway, so the tomatoes are a little bit overgrown, but I just went through today and I pruned them really good, and I'm going to kind of show you how I did that and let you know the process in which to trellis them and how to maintain them moving forward from today. You can kind of see here the original string line that we have set up for them. It's just a T-post and some rope, and it's all set up and ready to be trellised. We set those up when we originally set up the garden back in May, so they were all ready to go, and today we're going to utilize them. These are the string lines that we use to trellis the tomatoes and cucumbers. This is how they come out of the box. Kate and I ordered a big shipment of these last year, so and we reuse them from year to year, so this is the second year using them. These are two brand new sheets. I've already laid out the used ones, and I was short a few, so I had to grab a couple new ones. But this is how they come out of the box. They're very simple, and I'm going to show you how to use those. I'm going to start with the cucumber here. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to grab your string line and tie it around the base of your plant. This kind of works as your anchor. Here we are. And then you're going to take the rest of this and you're going to kind of unroll it a little bit. And we're going to hook it up on the top of the rope. Now that we have it kind of unraveled, you want to get it so it's just tight enough to reach the rope. And it has a little hook here that you can just slide right onto the rope, and that's all it is. It just hooks right on. And alright, so we have our string line all set up. We have it anchored at the base of the plant, and it's hooked at the top. Now you're going to take your cucumber plant, and you're going to very gently just wrap it. And like I mentioned before, it's much easier to do this with a smaller plant. But like I also mentioned, I wasn't sure if some of these were going to come out of the frost, so I wanted to wait. wrapping. And then they naturally have these little feelers that will eventually kind of grasp the string line, and it'll kind of help itself grow up, and then you can also guide it as it grows too, and just keep wrapping it all the way around until it reaches the top. And once it reaches the top, all you're going to do is you're going to unwrap it, loosen it up, and then you're going to gently just roll it right down this rope, so then it'll kind of angle, and then it has more room, and you kind of just slide it down the rope as it keeps growing. It's going to be a very similar process with the tomatoes. So you have your string line, and you're going to wrap it around the base of the plant, and again this kind of acts as your anchor. And as your tomato plant is growing after you originally plant it, you can actually take off any leaves or side growth off of the stem up to between 6 inches and a foot. Basically anything that's going to be touching the ground, you can go ahead and pick those off. You can just pull them right off. Kind of cleans up the base of your plant and gets better airflow. So go ahead and do that. Don't be afraid to do so. So we have our base attached, our anchor attached to our tomato plant. And then you're just going to unravel it just like the cucumbers. You're going to string line it all the way up to the top of the rope. Just check and see. See it right here, it's not quite enough. So I'm just going to flip it over and hook it. So I have it hooked onto here. It's a little bit looser than I kind of want it, so I'm just going to wrap it around and hook it like that. So it's tight, but there's still some give to it. And then just like the cucumbers, you're going to take your tomato plant and kind of wrap it around your string line. And like I mentioned, you kind of want to do this much earlier than what we're doing it this year, but we're making it work. This way your tomato plant gets picked up off of the ground. It's not laying on the ground to rot or anything like that. It grows straight up in the air. And then as it continues to grow, you're just going to keep up with that same process. And then just like I mentioned with the cucumbers, once it gets up to your string line, just go ahead and detach it, unravel it, and then just slide it down the top rope. So then it kind of leans and gives it some more space to grow. Now I had mentioned before that I already went through and thinned the tomatoes. So basically what I did, like I mentioned a little bit before, is I pruned off the bottom all the way up so I have plenty of room to anchor, and then so none of the leaves are touching the ground at all or touching the weed fabric. And then another thing that you do to maintain your tomatoes that are trellised is you want to go ahead and thin them. The best way to do this is a good example right here. I have my main stalk going right here. I have my fruit right here. I have a leaf right here. And then there's this one in the middle called the sucker, and it basically just absorbs the plant energy and doesn't do a whole lot, and it just kind of clogs it up. And so you're going to want to go ahead and prune those out. We call it, the best way to kind of know which one is the sucker plant is it's kind of in the armpit. So you got your main body, your arm or your leaf, and then you've got this sucker plant right in the armpit. You can go ahead and take all of those out. So your plant has plenty of room to to breathe, get airflow. It's not harming any of the fruit. It's just kind of taking up space, so go ahead and prune those out. That's what one of them looks like. And then as it kind of grows up too, as it puts on new growth, I'll wait for the wind here. So here's some new growth right here. Try to focus it in maybe. There. So here's a smaller one. Here's your leaf, your main body, your main stem, and then here's a sucker. Pull it right out. One of the main reasons for string lining or trellising tomatoes is mainly just to save space. Each of these plants are spaced about a foot apart and they go straight up instead of bushing out, so you're able to fit a lot more plants in a smaller amount of space. And the same thing kind of goes for the cucumbers. Cucumbers, as you know, vine all over the place, so if you want to do a large number of plants with a small amount of space, trellising is the way to go. Kate and I have also tried tomato cages in the past, and we've had a really hard time with them getting too heavy. They still topple over anyways, and so we found that this is a lot better. It actually ends up being sturdier, and by pruning them like I showed you, the plants are able to breathe a lot more, and we've noticed that we've had a lot less rot of the plants and of the fruits by doing the trellis system. Thank you so much for watching our video today. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to our channel at the Klasen Family Homestead. If you also want to know a little bit more about tomatoes or anything like that, or if you have kids at home, I also made a video of the life cycle of a tomato. I will link that at the end of the video here too if you want to watch that one as well. And if you want to see more gardening tips throughout the summer and in the future, make sure you hit subscribe as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.